Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about insoles in shoes. I basically think there are three different kinds. There's the sock liners that come in the majority of shoes. Then you move up and you've got insoles, which are basically like the brands that you'll see sold at running stores. It can also be a Dr. Scholl's that you buy over the counter at a drugstore, but they're inserts that go in. Some of the big brands that the running shoe stores sell are Superfeet, Atrix, Power Step, and Curex. But those are also they're actually trying to do some correction to your stride to keep your foot in balance. And then there's custom orthotics, which are prescribed by a podiatrist that are much more, they're molded for your feet by a professional and they're more adjustable. Normally once you buy a insole, it's not really very adjustable, but anyway, so talking first about the sock liners, I would say the majority of shoes are using a open cell sock liner. The most popular or the most famous sock liner out there is made by Ortholite. These have been tested over the years. They're great. They use an open cell foam, which feels good underfoot. They cover the seams of the bottom of the shoe, the top of the shoe, so you're not feeling it. And they provide really good step-in comfort and a little extra cushion to the shoe. Tests have shown, like with an Ortholite insole, that the compression is very minor within the shoe. And during the lifetime of the shoe, you're usually only compressing 5% of the foam feel. So the sock liner feels about the same from the beginning of the life of the shoe to the end. So it does a really good job. Within sock liners, another one that is made, you'll see lots of brands out there. The majority of them in different shoes won't necessarily have the Ortholite name, but they're either they're using Ortholite but not using their name, or they developed their own, but it's very similar to Ortholite, and they're just nice open cell foam that gives a nice consistent feel. What you'll see in race shoes is it's also still an open cell foam. They've made it much thinner, and they usually glue it down in the shoe. This is my leaning Fadian Challenger 5s, but it's a race shoe, and I can feel the thickness of the insole of the sock liner is much thinner, but it still provides a little bit of cushion, less of it, but it's still enough to keep you from feeling the seams underneath on top of the midsole. And it does a good job. It just is not going to provide as much cushion, but you'll see this in a lot of race shoes. A third type of of sock liner that comes in that I think kind of borders almost heading toward the insole sort of category, because the majority of sock liners are not really providing any performance benefit. They just give you the nice feeling and the protection of not feeling the seams, which is really good. But Innovate developed their Boomerang midsole a few years ago. I think it actually kind of borders, because it is still like a sock liner that just goes into the shoe and comes out, but it has TPU beads. It's really bouncy. It's using a closed cell foam. So one of the disadvantages of the open cell foams is they will absorb a lot of moisture. You go through water and you'll have squishy underneath, and you'll sweating also. But when you go to these the Boomerang midsole from Innovate, also the FKT insole from Topo, and I'm sure there's some other brands doing it as well. But the TPU beads actually give you a little extra bounce, a little extra performance. And with the closed cell foam, they don't absorb water, so you're not going to get that squishy feeling, and it gives a better chance for the water to dissipate out the sides of your shoe, and you're less likely to retain and have the waterlog problems you can have with regular insoles. When you go to, well, I'm going to jump first and just talk about orthotics. Orthotics are developed by podiatrists. They'll measure your feet, they'll look at your specific gait. They're gonna try to figure out how to modify the orthotic over time to help your foot. They're hard normally, very hard material. This one has like a heel area that can be adjusted up or down depending on how you need it. They can scrape this down to get it to be more customized fit or to solve your issue. They're adding real often some extra cushioning. This is just a cork up here, and then they're putting a nice top on the majority of them now. I used to have some old ones that didn't have any top on the top, but this gives it some of that feel like of your sock liner, where it's going to absorb a little bit more of your the feel and make it feel nicer. Anyway, these are very adjustable. They're made by podiatrists. They do tend to be very expensive, but they do help a lot of people. In between there is the insoles that you buy at a lot of running shoe stores. Think brands like Superfeet, Atrix, Power Step, Curex. The majority of these are mimicking what the orthotics do from podiatrists. They're going to look at how high your arch is. They can have different levels of support, usually 2 or 3 different levels, depending on whether you're pronating a lot or little, and your arch support is little. But it's to keep you from rolling in or rolling out. They're a good guess. They get fairly close. They'll add some cushion, just like the custom orthotics did. They added some cushion back here. They tend to be fairly stiff like an orthotic, and they've usually got a nice soft liner, kind of give you the feel of the sock liner, and you replace the sock liner and put these in. Anyway, they do help quite a few people. I would say I think they're a little overprescribed at running stores. There are some stores that are saying that everybody needs an insole. You buy a pair of shoes, you think you should get an insole. I actually do not think that's true. I think probably 90% of the people are fine just having a sock liner, and they don't need correction. In severe cases where you're over pronating or supinating too much, then it is warranted to try a insole, and they definitely do help some people. I believe in trying to eventually strengthen your feet and get out of them. I was a orthotic wearer for a lot of years. Then I wore some of these insoles, and eventually I was able to strengthen my feet to a point where I really don't need any anymore. I just use sock liners. Some of the things you can do to strengthen your feet, I'm not going to go into that deeply today, but just the toe scrunching, you can wear the toe spacers. I actually strengthened my feet a lot when I went to lower drop shoes. But anyway, and shortened my stride. But that's another story for another day. But anyway, I think they're a little overprescribed, but they definitely can help a lot of people. Within the insoles that are sold over the counter, my favorite are actually from a brand Curex. And the thing is that it still has like the plastic support in there, that it's giving you support up in the heel to help slow down pronation, but it's still got some flex to it. So a lot of these and the orthotics are so stiff, it's like you're putting on a cast on your foot, and your foot, it'll protect it, but it's not going to allow your foot to get stronger and handle things on its own. What I think is great, I think about the Curex, is because they still have a little bit of flex, you're still able to get a little bit of movement, and your foot can strengthen a little bit more and be less in a cast type feel. It's giving some support and some direction, but without the cast. Anyway, those are just my thoughts on insoles. I am not a podiatrist. I'm not a licensed doctor. They're just based on my years of running and my years of working in the running store. But anyway, take it as you will. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the thumbs up, the like button. If you're interested in any more of my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. And other than that, I hope you're having a wonderful day. And keep moving.